Manager, Financial Control, State Bank of India since August 2016. In his present role, he is responsible for investor relations, bank performance review, asset liabilities management, as well as bank's capital plans. Prior to this, he was General Manager, Mid Corporate Group, and heading Mid Corporate Regional Office at Ahmedabad. His other important assignments include DGM, Merchant Banking, responsible for ECB and loan syndications, DGM Corporate Accounts Group, Mumbai, and Vice President Syndications and Investment at Hong Kong. Let's have a huge round of applause for Mr. Mehta, please. May I request Ghaisa sir to welcome Mr. Mehta with a memento. May I request Ghaisa sir to welcome our other panelists with memento, Ms. Bala Deshpande, Mr. Topendra Bhattacharjee, and Mr. Ravi Tyagi. Thank you, Ghaisa sir. Today, we are honored to have with us Mr. Ravi Tyagi. Mr. Tyagi is the MD and CEO of Siddhi Venture Capital. He is BTech Mechanical Engineering from College of Technology, GB Pant University of Technology, Padmanagar, and has done his executive MBA from Manipal Academy of Higher Education. Mr. Tyagi has a rich professional experience in the industry and financial sectors spanning over 25 years. He was instrumental in introducing and growing several successful credit and risk capital products in Siddhi. His expertise lies in managing the fund of fund operators, as also serving on investment committees of VC funds. Mr. Tyagi's core domain skills include fair appreciation of MSME needs, credit and equity investment processes, cluster interventions, rating and due diligence processes, product design, market engagement, dealing with regulators, multilateral institutions, and government agencies. We are honored to have you here, sir. We also have with us Ms. Bala Deshpande, Senior Managing Director of New Enterprise Associates Private Limited, as our eminent panelist for this session. New Enterprise Associates Private Limited is based in Mumbai and is responsible for creating and building the NEA India platform. She serves on the board of several NEA portfolio companies such as Financial, Software and Services, GoQ Corporation, Nova Medical, Panacea Medical, etc. Prior to this, she was Senior Director of Investments at ICICI Venture, where she had been since 2000. At ICICI Venture, she used her operational experience to identify opportunities for investment and to play a key role in shaping the future of investing companies. During her tenure at ICICI Venture, she was a director on the board of several companies. Ms. Deshpande continues to serve on the board of Future Enterprise and InfoEdge as independent director. Her private equity experience has seen the full cycle from nurturing young companies to executing multiple exits, including IPOs, buybacks, strategic sales, and capital market divestments. Prior to ICICI Venture, Ms. Deshpande worked with leading multinational companies such as Best Foods, Cadbury's, and ICI. She has a master's degree in Economics and Business Administration from Jamnagar Bajaj, Mumbai. We are honored to have you here, ma'am. It gives me a great pleasure to introduce to you all to our another distinguished panelist, Mr. Topendra Bhattacharjee. Mr. Bhattacharjee currently heads the Digital Bank, Direct Channels and Analytics at RBL Bank. In his present role, he is responsible for digital transformation of the retail bank along with building digital-led businesses. He is also responsible for driving internet, mobile and social media-led platforms along with digital marketing, product and online sales, as well as leading the direct channel portfolio of the bank. In his previous role at the bank, Mr. Bhattacharjee was responsible for setting up RBL Bank's highly successful business banking portfolio. Prior to joining RBL Bank, Mr. Bhattacharjee launched an e-commerce entrepreneurial journey and launch a successful e-commerce born out of his passion for the arts. We are honored to have you, sir, on the dais. May I now request Mr. Mehta to please take over as the moderator for this session.
Yeah, I think now. Very good afternoon to all of you. I think this is the post-lunch session, so let me try and at least keep you awake by telling you a small story, which will set the tone for this discussion. See, this is about, many of you might have heard it before, but obviously I will have to repeat this. It's about a church sweeper called Luigi. This guy has been a sweeper in a very big church for 20 years. He's doing his job flawlessly, was always appreciated. But as luck would have it, one day the Archbishop calls him and says to him, Luigi, see, you need to go now, we need to let you go. So it's very crestfallen. Luigi asked, why is it that you're letting me go? I've been working flawlessly for the last 20 years. So he was told by the Archbishop that, see, times have changed now. We need someone who can read and write a little bit. You can't read and write. We need someone who can perhaps operate a computer when we desire so, and also do some admin job. So we have to let you go. So Luigi was very, very disappointed, but the writing was on the wall, so he had to go. So with his severance pay of hardly $50, he stepped down. And he decided to leave the city in frustration. There's no point in continuing here. The city is not treating me well. So he was walking along the highway. Out of his frustration, he wanted to have a smoke. And he started looking for a cigarette shop. And he couldn't find any. And he just kept walking, hoping that there would be a cigarette shop maybe down the road. And he still couldn't find any. So he just went back to the city, took a wheelbarrow, bought $50 worth of cigarettes for his, from his severance pay, went back, and the rest is, as I say, is history. He set up chain stores all over highways in the US. And this was a very big business opportunity for him. One day when some banker like me started chasing him for his accounts, he was brought to the bank and he was told to fill up some forms. And then he said, no, I can't read or write. So the banker, again like me, said that if you can't see, you have done so well in life, what would have happened if you would known how to read and write? So Luigi replied, I know what would have happened. I would be still sweeping the church floor. Okay, so I think that I was able to make you. So, there is a lesson for all of us here that we have to really broaden our horizons. We cannot be like my generation. We were all discussing over lunch also today, that Ms. Bala was jovially saying that, once you get, do I have a permission to repeat that? So she was just saying that once you completed your education, you had to either find a husband or a job. So Mr. Mehta responded that for you there were two options, for us there was only one, that you had to just find a job. So I think your generation is looking much beyond what our generation had been looking at. You people have very, very broad horizons. You people are what we do call the demographic dividend of this generation. I can also share with you that as a hardcore banker, what excites me is not somebody who comes and tells me, that I had taken a housing loan from your bank, I had done this from your bank. No, it doesn't. I've had people come and sit opposite me, and this has happened a number of times, where people have come and said to me that I started in 1985 with a 50,000 loan from your bank. Today I run a pan-India empire or even a cross-border empire. These are the people we honor also every year. We first July is our bank day. We call them and we honor them. These are the people who have grown with our organization. As our organization has grown, we also met their needs. So these are the people who have been involved not only, unlike me, in career building, but also in nation building. Okay. I'll just touch upon the theme of this thing, today. theme is don't be a job seeker, be a job creator. Now, initially, this thing, was that all four of us are job seekers, and we'll be guiding you on job creation. So whether there is a irony involved there. So, but if you look at it deeper, if you look at it a little deeper, I don't think there is much conflict. I, as a banker, would have given tens of thousands of crores of loans to people who have set up industry, thereby helping in the creation of jobs. And likewise for all of them. She has invested, all of them have done something similar where, you have not created jobs directly, but you have created jobs indirectly. So there may not be too much of a conflict between the two things. You can be a job seeker and you can be a job creator too. But again, coming back to my original point, you have to have very, very broad horizons for really going forward, really, what we call, going out on your own and seeking new horizons. Don't limit yourself merely seeking a job. Again, in our times, all of us will agree here that, when you wanted to set up something, you had to have what we call the four factors of production: the land, the labor, the capital, and the organization or the entrepreneurship. Today, all you need is an idea that is scalable. I will not go into the commercial viability part of it because that I leave for all of them. But what you need is an idea. All you need is an idea that can be developed, that can be scaled, that can be made viable at some future date, whenever it is. So, with this brief introduction that I wanted to give on this issue, I will now ask, I was discussing with your dean before the start of the session whether, this is exactly about funding opportunities per se, or this is about startups. So she was saying that this is entirely about startups, so I will not go into the, the so-called funding opportunities that I as a banker have in form of, term loans or bridge loans or cash credit or whatever. So we'll not go into that, we'll just step straight into the startups part of it. I'll ask Bala actually here this part, that whether, what is the changes that have happened, what are the enablers, in the last 3 to 5 years that can help these people understand what they can expect in future also in this space of startups, whether it has become more this thing that's Skill India or Make in India or Startup India or all these initiatives. Have they really impacted the ground? Have they increased the investors' appetite in any manner? So can you just give us a background on this in the last 3 years? What has been the scenario?
Sure. So I think Mehta did a wonderful job of making us such a lovely story. So I really want to see whether you're really awake. So how many people in this room want to become an entrepreneur? Okay, not bad. I think that looks like an honest ratio, because a lot of people when in the conference, everybody puts up their hand because it's a nice and sexy thing to say that, right? I want to become an entrepreneur, I want to start my own company. The truth is, I think it is far much more easier in the last 5 years than it has ever been. There are 3 or 4 enabling reasons for that. One is, I think, if you look at what we define, I started investing in the year 2000, which was the year of the meltdown. It was a meltdown of the IT services and the first e-commerce wave, and I unfortunately started my venture capital career shutting down companies. It's an irony, but there were so many businesses that got started on the hope that we will have a huge amount of people coming onto the internet and transacting. It was a hope. It was a hope that was backed by lots of money, unfortunately, and they had to be shut down. But IT services reimagined itself as a sector and became a very big force, as we all know it. So I think what I would say is that today, you as young people starting on their career are extremely aware of what's happening in the globe, which is a big change even compared to 2000. Rajiv and I were just discussing about how much information you would have, and I'm sure Many of you are capable of coming here and giving this talk about what to do next, more than even I would. But it is true, you have access to information, you have access to a network that is so wide. So I think what I would say is that that in India today the markets are emerging. So you have the ready markets, you have ready entrepreneurial talent such as you who are ready to work on their idea. You have thankfully parents who have accumulated enough wealth to allow you to take the risk. One of the big things about entrepreneurs is the ability to take risks, and I think you should go back and thank your parents for giving you even the wings to think about it. It's very important because again we are all coming, at least I'm coming from a generation where parents did not unfortunately have the money to give you that, but still entrepreneurs came about. It's just that the ratio of proportion of entrepreneurs that are going to be able to emerge today is very big. And last but not the least, the kind of capital providers that have come into this country and are increasing thanks to the government.